So my wife Rita, she can't understand what it's like to have an incurable autoimmune disease, but she does know what I needed to help reverse it, and it's all because of synchronicity. But synchronicity didn't just come from Rita; it's happening all around us. But I was using it wrong, all wrong. And once I learned how to use it, my autoimmune disease started reversing. And it's something you can do too, but not until you develop some awareness. So, in this video and live event, I'm going to show you how synchronicity helped me start reversing my autoimmune disease, how to avoid the mistakes so you can start enhancing your healing with synchronicity, and how to start to turn this knowledge into action so you can get out of bed, regain your life, and just as I did 7 months ago, have a life again. But before I show you how synchronicity helped me heal, I need to show you what I did wrong in my entire life. So these past 10 years, I've been developing and following my higher consciousness to align myself with healing. And every new Dr. Joe Dispenza course and healing meditation retreat, I think this is going to heal me. I completely surrendered to the change. And the experiences were phenomenal. But why did my body get worse? So I think of it like when I was younger and I had one of my first businesses selling pepper sprays and security products. I got my license, I made flyers, I set up at the local flea market. I thought this is going to pay my rent and all my bills. And a year later, I moved back in with my parents, hauling boxes of unsold pepper spray and security products. For years, I kept starting businesses, business after business with grand expectations that each one failed. And it wasn't until I stopped trying to start a business for money and started doing what I loved in website development, hosting, and security that I started to make progress. I wasn't progressing in my health because even though it felt right at the time, my ego had expectations of outcome. When I let go, things changed. But how do you let go and develop synchronicity so you're aligned to heal? Well, the first thing I did, I listened to my wife. When Rita and I first got married, I made up expectations in my head about being the man in the house, just like my dad and every other man I saw on TV. So when Rita wanted me to eat more vegetables and thought I needed a pedicure, I'd fight back. Well, spoiler alert, I love vegetables. And I really enjoy having my feet worked on. But this just wasn't because I was listening to my wife. She was synced with what I needed. Her suggestions were my guides and angels talking to me through her. So when she started suggesting certain supplements and treatments, each helped me in different ways. And the more I let go, the more I listened to what she suggested, the better I got. But synchronicity didn't end with my wife. It continued in my YouTube feed and friends. So last year, I started getting videos in my YouTube feed about intermittent hypoxia. And that's a type of breath work that can rebuild stem cells. So I was resistant in starting anything new because I already did breath work. I didn't think I needed anything new. But it wasn't long after that I was seeing intermittent hypoxia videos everywhere. The universe was sending me a message, but I didn't listen until my friends William and Doc started sending me videos on this too. I was being flooded with the same message by familiar friends acting as messengers, just like my wife. This was synchronicity. So I let go and I started this new breathing too, and it helped a lot. These synchronicities were no longer a coincidence, it was a framework for healing. But how did I use this to get me out of bed? Well, I had to go backwards before I could truly use synchronicity to heal. And while heading to Florida for winter for healing. Rita and I, we both knew that was our only goal: get to Florida. So when the airlines lost our passports, all our money, my laptop, my credit cards, and ID, I thought everything is going to be okay. I wasn't worried until I was mad. You see, Reed and I, we set up cross border accounts with a major bank in Canada to help fund our trip. So when I was working with them to secure our lost credit cards, they took me out and locked me out of our savings account. All the money we had set aside for this trip was locked. They said the only way that I could gain access to our accounts was to visit a local branch in Canada. We just spent 12 hours getting to Florida. Never mind, I had to be lifted and carried to get there. The trip exhausted my already weakened body so much that I was anchored to a bed. And while I couldn't move, I stewed. I thought about all the elderly and disabled and how they said this happens to these people every year. And I was getting ready to blow the whistle on this trusted institution that played on the weak and the vulnerable. I was in that moment when Rita looked at me and I saw her and I knew, but I didn't want to admit it, that taking on a fight like this isn't going to help me heal. I was back in my ego. I had no choice: fight or let synchronicity handle it. And that was a huge lesson that I fought with back and forth. I even filed a report with the news channel, Consumers Watchdog Reports. And as I wrote that report, I felt my anger boiling. I could feel the disease in my body growing. And I didn't want to feel this way. So I let it go. I let go of my laptop. I let go of our passports. I let go of our money. I let go of all my wants and expectations. I even let go of my expectation to heal and let it all go. I just knew I needed to be consistent with my existing healing routine. And as I let it all go, my autoimmune disease started to reverse. Rita was right. I had to choose. So now I listen to the messengers sent to me to align with synchronicity. And if you've gotten this far in this video, let me be your messenger. If you're looking to reverse your disease, you'll want to watch this next video and join us next week where Rita will show you the 3 types of foods that will heal your gut and start healing your autoimmune. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. Hi, Rita. Does any of this resonate with you? Do you, I mean, if you want to, I know my experiences, but what was your experience?
In terms of Florida or just synchronicity in
Well,
general?
well, like I said, I know what it's like to have this autoimmune disease and being isolated in this body, but you are taking care of me. You are synchronizing. You are looking at this. So as I'm spiraling, you're looking at me spiraling. Like what's going through your head?
Um, I'm laughing because the word that's coming into my head is annoyed.
Yeah.
I'm annoyed. Why are you doing that? And I do get annoyed easily. So, so for me, that's the first thing that pops into my mind is like I am annoyed by this whatever behavior, not just you, but like in general in life, right? Like things annoy me, and then and but that's my cue to kind of like tune into like, okay, why is this annoying me, right? Most of the time, I'm trying to control what's going on around me, right? And if something's not going the way I want it to, then that's annoying me because I'm trying to control it. So so for me, that's just my way of like knowing that something is going on, I guess, right? So something that is like I'm trying to control or I wish was in more control, right? So with Florida, it was definitely, I mean, I'm sad we lost our money. Like that was a lot of money to lose, and like our passports were replaced. Like laptop can be replaced. Some of your accessibility stuff can be replaced. Like a lot of it is replaceable, but having lost it, it's I don't even know if that's not annoying per se, but that is like I think about it often. Like okay, that why did that happen to us, right? There was obviously something to learn from it. So that's how I view things like that. Like in the moment, yes, we're annoyed, we're angry, we're like, you know, all the stuff that you had mentioned. Right? And if you continue to like think about it, right, over and over, it builds. So, that saying, like whatever you think of grows, right? So if you're in this continuous state of like being angry or in my case being annoyed, I will continue to be annoyed forever. So yeah, being able to that's just how I know that, something is needs to be changed perhaps, or what is it in that moment that I'm not comfortable with?
Yeah, I saw a lot of examples besides what I shared already. Um, Other things that I was trying to control, and everything I controlled would just work back against me. It was all my ego. Why do I got to control? If we're so aligned and synchronous, we shouldn't have to control. So the more we continue to let go, the more healing happened in this body, which was good. Even when we first got the wheelchair and I was able to bomb around, I didn't really want to venture that far. There was a lot of fear there, and then letting go of that fear, I started getting adventurous and just, oh, I'm going to explore now. So it was all that process of letting go and understanding that we are guided and have this synchronicity and that everything works out, which was really a real comfort that continues to serve us today. That everything that we, now that we're in this space, we see that everything that happened in the past was synchronicity. It was meant to happen to prepare us for this. And I'm assuming whatever's happening to us now is also going to prepare us for next bit too. And I call that all synchronicity, that we don't have to do anything. So continue to let go of it all. Do you find that at all? Just letting go and just being? I mean, I've kind of watched you. You are that way, anyways.
You kind of what?
Well, I'm saying in terms of you letting go or not controlling, because I watch you and you allow the day to unfold. You've got a lot of things on your plate, but you also are creative and you do things in the moment that bring you joy. So are you so back in Florida, it was a lot of control. Do you find you are trying to control the situation much now that we're here?
Um, yeah, I don't feel like I need to control. I don't feel that control aspect here. I do like just, you know, I just kind of go with the flow. That's what I feel. And if something does come up, then it's just something for me to focus on. It's not something to ruin my day. It's not something that I'm gonna sit there and think about for an hour. It's like, okay, that's what's going on right now. But I'm gonna go draw because I like drawing, or I'm gonna go to the garden because I like being in the garden, right? So yeah, I think going with the flow is like huge for me. Like just being able to, and then what I'm also finding is even though I'm capable of doing a lot, I'm not necessarily meant to be doing everything that I do, right? So meaning like so right now I've got like three sets of dogs that I'm looking after. I can look after them, but why am I doing this to myself? Right? It's like I don't need to. I'm doing it because I'm trying to be helpful. But yeah, so for me, it's like more learning because it's like, okay, well, and I know I'm very capable. I'm capable of doing a lot, but do I need to be doing all that? Is that making me happy? Or is that just stressing me out? Right? So by the end of the night, it's like, well, how much did I do for me and how much did I do for everybody else?
Yeah. So what are you going to do about it?
Um, well, I have to just, right now, is just finish what I started and then put forth better boundaries, right?
Mhm.
So just being able to say no to doing some things. Um, yeah, it's all lessons. I mean,
Mhm. So when you're thinking about all the things that I need to do or could do, how does that come into your mind? Like these messages coming in, that synchronicity that we talked about, how is that popping into your mind, or what do you think about?
for me, it's just thoughts. It's just like I'll be doing something and then like a thought pops into my head. Oh, okay, and that's it. Like maybe I'll go do research on something. Maybe I'll think about it a little more, or I might just actually say something. But yeah, for me, it's just thoughts that come into my mind.
So when you get that thought that comes in, how does that make you feel? Do you get excited? Is it, oh, something new, or is it, oh, now here's something else? Like, how does that thought make you think?
Usually, it's like I think, oh, that's interesting, and then I'll go do a little bit more research on whatever the thought was, right? So, especially if it's like a supplement or a therapy or whatever it may be, then yeah, I'll just look into it more. And sometimes it's something that I'll use, maybe for you, but maybe it's for somebody else also, right? So sometimes it's just information that is good for me to know that might be carried, that I could carry on to somebody else, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so I just take the thoughts and I kind of research it or think about it. In terms of feeling, it's not an excitement, it's just a more of a curiosity, like, oh, I wonder why I thought of that,
Mhm.
right? And then in terms of the synchronicity, like you were saying, sometime when you're talking about the hypoxia, right, where videos are popping up into your feed, for me, a lot of times it's numbers, so I'll see numbers all the time, right? So on the clock or whatever, I'll see 111s or 222s, or I see a lot of numbers often, and then also there's also like lyrics in my head all the time. So if I'm kind of what's the word I'm looking for? So if I'm just sort of in a place of just being, right? I call it elevator music. There's always something playing in my head. So I'll sit there and it's like, oh, well, what's playing today? Right? Or what's playing right now? And so sometimes the lyrics mean something. Sometimes it's just a nice song that I want to listen to over and over. And I don't know, I think we were in Florida. Something was happening. There was some kind of family matter happening. And then I, I, I heard a song playing in my head, and as I'm about to tell you what song I'm hearing, you heard the same song, and we were actually
Yeah.
like synced to the same song that was in our head. So that's interesting. So it can come in many different ways, right? Videos, lyrics, numbers, people.
Yeah. Awesome. I like Pamela saying here that that's why she's in your life, because she can let go and show you. And we've gotten to that realization that, well, Rita thinks she's here for me, to help with this, and I believe it, because I'd be screwed without Rita being around. Absolutely wouldn't be around. Yeah. What do you think, hon?
I still maintain that I came here because you made me, not because I necessarily wanted to.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, thank you for coming here for me. Yeah, because even now I think I can come back and do this. It's okay. This is all good. It's all good. But if you weren't here, it'd be a different story. Pamela Sue also says, I also find that when I'm upset, that if I turn into something creative, it takes my mind off that, and I feel I can at least do that. And so and that's great. I mean, it's perfect. What I also found was that, am I escaping by doing something else, or I actually am observing and take care of what I need to? Because instead of dealing with my problems, as I shared earlier, I said, well, I'm going to get back at you, thinking that's what felt right. But that's what I was doing wrong with my synchronicity, by diverting what I should be doing by looking at my anger, observing it, understanding it, and realizing that this was all a control issue, instead of just putting my fuel into that report that I'm writing, or fighting with the ombudsman at the bank. So that's what I think is by avoiding more tests and issues of control come into our life. At least that's what I observed, and letting go is really important. Jim says from Bashar, follow your passion in the moment with zero insistence or expectations of a particular outcome. So true. It's all happening for a reason. Put a positive spin on everything that happens. And um, I was never really a Bashar person, but I do put a lot of Bashar into my life now because I love it. I like it. I don't know, Rita, what do you have to say? Well, actually, I'd be curious about your comments about this one, about diverting your attention, doing something creative when you have a mind. What does that mean to you, and how do you deal with it? How do you deal with your problems? And do you just avoid it, or you actually, I don't know, what do you do?
Um, I don't know if it's about dealing with problems. I feel like it's just you're stepping away from it, from the problem, and if you're if you're doing something that has taken you away from that problem, then you're in the moment. If there's, I'll say, a message or something, I find if I'm going to hear something, it'll be at that time, right?
Mhm.
So, and it doesn't even have to be like, doesn't even have to be like if I'm drawing or something. It could be like I'm washing dishes. I heard one time, I clearly remember I was going through my own health issues and I was vacuuming, and the thought that I heard so loud was like, you don't even believe in what you do. So it was like I wasn't trusting in what I know. I was relying on other people to help me through my health issues, right? Not to say that other people aren't there to help you, but you can't give it all away. Like you still need to do work yourself, right? So yeah, so
Yeah,
just being in the moment, right? Just
yeah, perfect. Combination of what Pamela and Jim had said. Um, yeah, and I'm curious. We just talked about synchronicity and some of those clues that helped me see where I was being resistant. Do you guys see anything that's holding you back? Anything that's resistant in what we shared? Has that brought up any thoughts within your own head about your synchronicity, that resistance, that living in ego? Is there anything that you would see based on what we shared so far? And Pamela says there's a balance. When you're starting to stress out from something, it is not wrong to move your attention to something else. So you can claim, so you can calm, and then you can return to the problem at hand. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's not wrong at all. It's whatever process. I think as we, there is a common human nature across all human beings, and that is to um, do what feels right, in a sense, uh, the path of least resistance. So if our path is to stew in anger, that's the path we're going to take. If our path is to go do something else, that's the path that leads to resistance. And some people never go back to address the problem. So the problem just ends up growing. And that's typically where a lot of disease comes into, according to Joe Dispenza and other people where that you live in that disease. So I think about our choice, that those of us that are more spiritually aware and are learning, that we avoid our problem, yeah, but then we'll hopefully come back to it and start observing it, understanding it, and dealing with it. And as new problems arrive, that is how we get really good at not avoiding it anymore and dealing with it in that second. And because it ends up getting really easy. It's like, oh, you get excited. I got a new problem. This is triggering me. Oh, that's exciting. I'm being triggered. And I would look into that like, okay, take a breath, clear my mind, clear my ego. What is it? What am I feeling? Talk to my body. You're safe. Let me understand it. Where is this coming from? Is there a lesson? And I just go through a process of observing it and break it down. So now I get excited when problems happen, so that that type of any new problem or trigger doesn't stay in the body and fester and grow into the potential of becoming disease. And that's been a real gift, learning how to let that go quickly. And I hope that's where we can all go eventually. That when we look at all of our problems, we let it go, and maybe we'll have a little bit more of a peaceful society and not allow things to overwhelm. And we have wars and arguments and whatever else. So deal with the problem so that disease doesn't stay in the body. And that's where I hope we get to. But we're doing it bit by bit. Each and every one of us are doing it in our time that we are letting go. Jim says, I get similar synchronicities, messages through others, songs in my head, repeating numbers, sequences, but YouTube videos, and seeing certain animals. Just saw an orange cardinal fly across the yard. Very cool. Very cool. I'm curious to know what that means. Yeah. Yeah. Good morning. I love this name. Divine Healing with Sun. Hey, Sun. And not only is I know, hi, Sun Yuta. It's good to see you. Yeah, and the sun is healing. Sun. So you are a ray of sunshine. So I'm glad you're here to add even more healing to this. So this was our chat on synchronicities, observing when it's working against us, and how to use it. And as I said earlier, Rita is definitely one of my synchronicities. And I'll say this again: if you're looking to reverse your disease, watch the next video. Join us next week, and Rita's going to show us the 3 types of foods that's going to heal your gut and start healing your autoimmune, just like she did for me. So thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here, participating, and I really do love y'all. Bye.